Sorry. Hi, it's Jay Carnley. This is the Faith and Kingdom Riches podcast, and this is part two of the men that I trusted who betrayed me. So, the third guy, I'll show his picture last. This guy, okay, I'm going to tell you, I had daddy issues. I didn't grow up with my father, so I always desired to have a father. And the guy, well, I'll put it this way. I never wanted to have any men around me. I didn't because I had daddy issues. So I hated men. It's strange, but because I didn't have a father, I hated men. So I had a problem with every man that came across my path. So I'm in the sixth grade. And me in the sixth grade, they assign you a homeroom teacher. So I'm sitting there. I ain't really praying a lot, but this time I'm praying like my life depend on it. So they said, we're going to call you and you're going to have an advisor. We're going to tell you your homeroom teacher is. And so I was saying, Lord, please, please, please do not. When the man, it was a lady coming, I'm like, please, please, please call me, call me, call me. I want this female teacher. And so bad. So she finished her roll call. And then a guy got up and I was like, oh, hell no. It ain't, I ain't say it back then, but it ain't finna happen to me. So I was like, no, 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 don't do it. Don't do it. Don't call me. And he didn't call me. I was like, yes. Okay. Then another female got up there and I'm like, please, 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 please give me her for the homeroom teacher. And she done. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm looking at the people left. I'm like, it's mostly men and like one of the lady. Well, this man get up there. He calls my name and I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I don't want to go. So he keeps calling my name. I don't answer. I sit there. So he called my name over and over. I don't answer. I sit there. Well, when this guy calls me, eventually somebody knew I was there because I guess we had to register or my mom checked me in or whatever. So they came in. I don't know if we had name tags on when I was in sixth grade, but they came and got me. It's like, he's talking to you, get up. And so they made me go and my arms folded. I don't want to be there. So I decided I'm going to give him hell. So I go into his homeroom. I sit sideways. I don't sit forward and listen to him. I don't want to hear nothing he has to say. He can't tell me nothing. He's not my daddy, so he can't tell me nothing. So I was real angry and just an angry child. And I was like, he can't tell me nothing. So if you have a parent, you need to respect that parent. If they're not abusing you or anything like that, respect your parent and love your parent. Shame on you for not treating your parents right. The Bible says you will live all your days out if you are respectful to your parents. You have a short life if you're not. So if you're dishonoring your parents, you really need to repent and you need to get it right with your parents. There are people who pray for a daddy and they don't have a daddy. They pray for a mother and they don't have a mother. They may be in foster care. So you have parents, you need to treat them right and you need to respect them and you need to love them and you don't need to call them when you need something. That's not right. If your parents are good parents to you and they treated you well, I'm sorry about the light, y'all. I'm almost done. Then you need to respect them. Anyway, let me see if I can adjust it. That help? I don't know. But let's see. Sorry, this. I'll fix the background. It'll get fixed and stuff. But yeah, so okay, so what else? Okay, so this guy calls me and I'm sitting sideways and he feeling real disrespected up in here. So I'm like, sorry you feeling disrespected. And I'm not. So I just want you to get mad at me and put me in the female room, homeroom, and he won't do it. So he calls me out one day. He's asking questions, and he was like, I was just like, I'm ignoring him. I didn't have a phone, of course, in the sixth grade. I'm writing something. I'm got my hand under my chin. He is very disinteresting to me. So I'm not interested in what he's saying. And so he gets mad and he was like, call my name. He took a book and he slammed it down on the desk and I jumped and he was like, what are you doing? Turn around. I'm talking to you. You're going to be in my room. You're going to respect me, young lady. And I was like, What you gonna do about it? You can just kick me out. And he was like, I know what you want. You want me to kick you out, but I'm not kicking you out. And I got angrier. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do enough for you to kick me out. So I never did. I came late to my class. I did all this stuff. I came late. I never listened to what he had to say. I never participated. I never read out loud. Nope, nope, nope. So he started putting me in detention. I started going to a detention all the time. I was always in detention. And so at this point, he was like, I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to get out of here and go to detention. Every time she come to class, she want to go to detention. So I'm not sending her. So he would keep me, and that would just bug me. He knew it was getting to me. So one time he sent me to detention. And I went, and guess who was there? That was his hour for detention. I was like, oh, hey, nice. Oh, you're surprised to see me because, hey, I'm your detention person. And now what you going to do? You got to do your homework in here and everything. And I was so angry with him. I was like, don't even talk to me. And I went and sat down and just fumbled whatever I did that hour. I ain't do nothing. I was just angry. And so one particular day, to speed it up, he says, I know what your problem is. You need a father in your life. You mad, huh? You mad because you don't have a father. I was like, what is it to you? Don't even talk to me. I said, you don't know me. You don't know my story. And so he was like, you mad because you don't have a father. And I'm like 12 years old. I said, look, don't talk to me, man. I ain't trying to be your friend. So we both going back and forth. Well, he sent me to counseling, the counselor. I went to the counselor, and the counselor was like, yeah, you know, you need to talk to somebody. I was like, well, I'm just angry and I don't like him. I want to be switched. She's like, well, we can't switch you. We need a reason why. I said, I just don't like him. She's like, had he done anything? I was like, nope, I just don't like him. And so she was like, well, we can't switch you on based on that. And I was like, whatever. So then he came in and he was like, I know why you're so angry. You need a father in your life. And I have a daughter. And the daughter was, I think, a few years younger than me. And she was like, he was like maybe 5 years younger than me or something or whatever. And he was like, I'll be your play daddy. Like, what? Now this is off the record. She leaves and it's just us. And he's like, I'll be your play father. This is what this man tell me. And I was like, my play father? And he was like, yeah, you need a father. And I can be your father. And I was like, this is my teacher, y'all, my sixth grade teacher. Now my mother's a single mother. She just works. She know nothing about this. And he's, I'll be your play father. I said, my play, what's a play father? And then he was like, I provide for you. I'll help you. When you need a dad in your life, I guide you, this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay, whatever. So then I was like, I think about that. And so he started being real nice to me and acting like he was concerned about if I had a bad day. He tried to, cheer me up, just all kind of stuff. He was just real nice. I was like, why is this man so nice to me like that? I gave him crap. I gave him hell. Why is he so nice to me? Why does he even care? I couldn't figure that out. So next thing I knew, we started talking as though like I was his daughter. Like he would just be advising me and different things like that. And I'm like, I couldn't figure out why he cared so much. So I was like, why this guy cares so much? And he's like, I'm just trying to love you. Will you let somebody love you and stuff? I was just like, but you my teacher. So I couldn't figure that out. And I was telling my mother, his teacher, he's so caring and he always somebody he gonna be my play father. I'm like, I don't even know this man, he be tripping. She's like, don't be giving no teachers a hard time. That was pretty much how it went. And so every day I went there, he still was like, he knew how to deal with me, everything. And so at that point, it was like I was like bringing down my fire and calming down and not being so angry because he was showing he was caring. I started to let my guard down very slowly. So by this time, I'm graduating to the seventh grade. It's a sixth through the eighth grade. I'm graduating to seventh grade, and I was like, man, I trust him now. He wins my trust. So they announce and say, hey, you passed. And, I guess they read it on the last day or something like you passed to the seventh grade. And I was like, yay, we're all celebrating. And then he comes to me and he's like, I got some good news for you. I was like, okay, what is it? And he was like, I'm going to be a seventh grade teacher. I was like, huh? You my sixth grade teacher. How could you be my seventh grade teacher? He said, I'm going to be your homeroom teacher. I was like, what? You a sixth grade homeroom teacher? How does that work? Why are you a seventh grade teacher? They changing you. I mean, I don't know what's going on. And he was like, well, I put in for the seventh grade and I got it. And so I'm going to be your homeroom teacher so I can look out for you. I was like, and I thought, wow, he's doing all this for me. That's like special. He put in for to change from the sixth grade to seventh grade so he can watch over me and make sure I'm okay. And I'm like, that's so sweet. I never had anybody do nothing like that. He's must be really, this is what it feel like to have a father. So that went on. And the whole seventh grade, it was just cool. And I called him by his name. I was calling him Mr. I never called him his first name. I was always taught to be respectful. To this day, I called him Mr. And he was to get mad, like, why are you always calling me Mister? Just call me by my first name. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. Now, I didn't feel comfortable. I never, to the last day I talked to him, I never felt like comfortable calling him by his first name. So it was always Mister. And it always bugged him. And I never knew why. So now I graduate. They said, you going to the eighth grade? I'm like, yay. And he said, guess what? I tried to get in the eighth grade, but they wouldn't let me. And I was like, you tried to go to the eighth grade. Well, why? He was like, for me. But they denied it. I don't know why, but they denied it. I said, well, I'm all right. I'm about to be a senior. Like, I don't need you guiding me. And, like, I mean, you could be here, but you ain't got to be like, you know, all like, in my face. So I'm good. I'm dating. I got a little boyfriend over there at the school. You ain't gotta be watching out to me. I'm in the whole seventh grade. I'm in the eighth grade now. So he's like, you don't have a boyfriend, just like you liking somebody and they like you back. So he's like, well, I'm still be watching you. I was like, dude, relax. You ain't gotta watch me. I'm good. So I didn't know how serious it was. Now I'm in high school and I still talk to him and we're just talking. And I I think I forget how old I was. Oh, it's not now. So we're talking constantly. I call him and say, hey, I talked to his wife. He introduced me to his wife by the phone. Like, hey, this is the young lady I was telling you about. And I just acted her as her father. She was like, okay, she was cool with it. So I was like, hey, Miss So and so. And how are you? How is your daughter? And she like, I'm fine and everything. Everybody's fine. I was like, she said, you want Mr. So and so? And I said, yes. And I called and we will talk all the time. And I'm like, hey, Mr. And he'd be like, well, hello, what's going on? I'm like, nothing. I'm about to do this and I need to learn how to drive. Are you available to teach me how to drive? He was like, yeah, I'm on it. And so he was like telling me his schedule. So this man would pick me up. I come in the dark by 8, 9 o'clock. He's teaching me how to drive. He didn't really seal it for me. I had other people teaching me how to drive, but he was one of the drivers that was teaching me. And I was with him different times. And then so my mother loved him. Oh my gosh, she loved him. And this was the thing. They thought he was so fine. When he came, the single women across the street would come out on their patio talking about, child, is your fake daddy coming by, your play daddy, whatever the hell his name is. I just need to know if he coming by so I can put on my best moo gown and I can come on out here and I can just look at him. I just want to look at him. Let him come. And I was like, ew, that's disgusting. I think I'm gonna throw up in my mouth. Like, what is up with y'all get so hot? And like I can tell when they're like, I don't know how they knew. It's like they could smell that he's coming. They would come out on the porch and they would just be like looking around like, I think her daddy, I don't know, because he didn't come over the same day of the week, but he just would come over at least like once a week and visit me. And we'd stay on my mother's porch and just be talking and sit in the chair or whatever. So she was like, baby, you when you sit on that porch, I guess that's what it was when I sat on the porch, because I never really sat on the porch. And I sit in the chair and she was like, yeah, they would say, oh, your play daddy coming over. And they just wait, hey baby, your play daddy coming by. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, these people crazy. I was like, yes, he's coming by. And they were like, oh, let me go get my makeup on. Let me go put my best wig. They would just be so happy to see my so-called play father. And I was just like, ew. And so he come out, they be like, hey, baby, you looking good now. Look at you. And all this stuff. And he was like, hey, ladies, and stuff. And he was just laughing. I said, why do women act like that around you? He was like, why do you have a problem when women compliment me? Why do you have a problem when women like me? I said, I don't. I just don't see why. You just my teacher. I pay attention. You just my teacher. And so he's like, well, whatever. And he said, you just be you ought to be happy. I'm a nice looking man. Why you can't just admit it? I was like, it don't matter to me. Them people, whatever, it's disgusting, it's gross, whatever. So we'll just be like that. That's how I was with him all the time. And then it got to the point where I was dating. And he got all up in my business. He tells me I'm about to graduate from high school. And he says, I'm going to what he said? He said, I'm going to go to college. And I said, I don't want to go to college. He said, you're going to go to college. I am a history teacher, so you're going to go to college. Okay. And I said, no, I'm not. And we went back and forth. So I ended up going to college because he says he's my daddy and I need to do what he tells me to do. So I was like, well, he has been there for me since the 6th grade. So I was like, I guess I can try it so he can get off my back. So I ended up going to college. And now that I'm in college, I meet this guy and we're dating. And he was like, so what's up with you dating this guy? And I was like, listen, you taking this daddy thing way too far. So I was like, that's off limit. My dating life is off limits to you. And he was like, he would get mad, like, no, I need to know everything that's going on in your dating life. I said, no, you don't. I don't even talk to my mother. So no, you don't. And he was like, he would get so mad every time I'm dating somebody. Where's this going? Is this getting serious? I was like, dude, back off. You're taking your job way too serious. So that's how I was. He was like, why are you so mean to me? Why don't you like me? Why? He was just constantly coming for me. Why are you so mean? Why you don't like me? Why do you treat me like that? You know, all these women out here be liking me, and you hate when they compliment me. You just be so mean to me. I was like, it's not that serious. You just my teacher. You just my play daddy. It's not that serious. I don't owe you no explanation of nothing. I told you I'm dating. I didn't have to tell you that. Well, did you kiss him? Did you have sex with him? Dude, ew, you're my freaking teacher. And if he was my father, I definitely wouldn't be talking to you about all this. Are you serious? No. Since you're acting like it, it's none of your business. So he gets more angry and more angry. So now I'm graduating from college. He comes over. He came over from my prom. This is how much he was in his daddy duties. He came from my prom. He taught me how to drive. And one day I was getting off of work and I think I got off the bus around midnight. He left his house and he came all the way to he was at the bus stop, pick me up so I walk. If I walked, it was 3 blocks to get to my house. He was out there at the bus stop. He picked me up and took me to my front door. I couldn't believe I was on the phone with him on the bus. He was like, "You scared? I'm coming to get you." And I was like, "Really?" Like I was just really. I'm telling you, this is what it looked like. And people, we had the strangest relationship, and my mother loved it. She loved every time he came. She'd just be wondering, "Ooh, he's such a handsome guy. He's so sweet. I just love him." And I was like, "Ew." And she was like, "Oh, girl, shut your mouth." That's how it was. And so he was like, everybody loved him but me. That's how he was to thinking. And so he did that. I was like, "Thank you." And I jumped out the car and I left, got in the house. Well, this particular time, I'm graduating, and then he's interrogating me about this guy and all this other stuff, and I need to approve him. I'm like, dude, no. I say, okay, I'm not. I tell you what, this is creepy. I'm not gonna tell you anything about anybody. Okay, you will never know because you're taking this stuff too far, and it's none of your business. And I don't feel comfortable talking to you about that. So he's still mad. So he's like, I get serious with this one guy. He's like, I don't approve of it. I said, I don't care. And it's what was weird. The guy that I was the guy was talking to, he said to me one time, "You know, I think he likes you." I was like, "Ew, that's disgusting. He's my teacher and he's acting like my play father. Why would my play father like me? Why would my ex-teacher like me?" This man followed me from the 6th grade to high school to high school to college. You just jealous. Look, you don't have to be jealous. There's nothing to worry about. He's just that guy. And so I tell him that we got into it about it. He was like, I don't like him. I feel very uncomfortable. I don't want you around him. So he's telling me all this. My ex, I said, well, you tripping because it ain't like that. He's just a dude that want to take his job serious. I ain't even signed up for it. I ain't even asked for it. I just went along with it because I got tired of him chasing me through the grade school. And so now he's like, you gotta stop seeing him. I want you to stop seeing him. The play father is telling me he want me to stop seeing the guy I'm serious about. And I said, dude, you don't get to make that decision. This is how I talked to him. And he was like, I'm putting my foot down. You cannot see him no more. And I don't want you to have sex with him. I don't want you kissing him. I was like, okay, this is so weird. I was like, can we just stop talking? I'm getting real uncomfortable. So he gets mad. He's like, okay, I'm going to tell him, try to wrap it up. He said, I got to say something to you. How many minutes? Okay. He said, I got to say something to you. I said, what? It was something I've been keeping from you. No, this is before he said this. I had to go to the dentist. This is what happened. I need to go to the dentist. His wife was a dental hygienist. I believe that's what her title was. And he said, well, I just have my wife see you. And we're at her practice, where the practice she work at. I said, really, you do that for me? He's like, yeah. And he paid for it. So I'm like, I'm younger. This is before I went to, as I was in college and 20, I think like 20 years old or something like that. So I went to see the wife and I'm like, she called my name and I went back. She's like, oh, well, you're pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. You too. And so we go back, they look at my teeth and they do what they have to do. And she was like, okay, the bill has been taken care of, her husband took care of it. I was like, oh, thank y'all. Y'all so sweet. Thank y'all so much for it. And thank you for, loving me and all that other stuff. And, I treat her real nice, but him, I never did. And I was just like, I don't know why. I couldn't figure it out. And so I was like, thank you so much. And then so right after that, I called him and to say thank you, probably like the next day. He said, oh, how did it go? I said, oh, it went good. I'm like, you should know, you live with her. Should have told you, she saw me. And so he said, how did it go? And I said, oh, it went good. She took care of me and everything. And she's really nice. I like her. She's so pretty and da 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 da. And then so he was like, oh, yeah. She said you were cool, whatever. So the next time I called, she answered. And I'm like, oh, hi. Like I always do. Hi, Miss So and so. And she was like, he not here. Click. And I said, what the heck? What happened? What happened different? So I have no idea what's going on. I called again, like the next day. I was like, hey, Miss, click. Well, I was in the middle of my sentence. It was still like, and she hung up on me. And I said, called it back again. I said, what is going on? I said, hey, Miss So-and-so, is something wrong with your phone? She was like, he's not here. I'll tell him you called. And she hung up. So I kept calling him, and he finally answered the phone. And I said, hey, what's going on with your wife? She pissed off at me. I told the lady, thank you. I'm like, I told her, thank you. Why your wife treat me like that? She all of a sudden she mean as a junkyard dog. She's so mean to me. She hang the phone up on me. She slammed the phone on me. She don't even let me get the rest of my words out. She just hang up on me. And I think they have call ID. Sometimes she wouldn't even answer the phone. And I knew she was there. I could smell her over the receiver. She was over there. And he's like, I don't know. She be right here. I don't know why she ain't answering the phone. So he acting clueless with me. And I'm really clueless, but he ain't clueless. Okay. So I had no idea what was going on. This woman hates my guts. After I went to dentist, I didn't spit in her face. I didn't I didn't cuss her. I did not say thank you. I didn't I didn't do anything. And I'm like, did I do something wrong? Which I know I didn't. He said, nah, she just get like that sometimes, but she's never got like that. So what did I do? He's like, don't worry about it. That's how he did it. So now fast forward, he said, I have something to tell you. I said, I don't like the tone of that. And he said, I'm going to tell you something I've been keeping from you. I was like, okay. And he tells me about his relationship with his wife. He married her. He never was in love with her because their parents forced him to be married until the child was of age. This really struck me. I was angry with him. I was like, well, you should fix it. If you know you don't love her, you need to, make it right. You shouldn't do that. And he was like, well, I can't. We have an agreement. So he was just counting down the days to leave her. And I would work with him and try to talk to him about it. I was like, this is not right. This is not right. You have to let her. You have to do this. Well, he loved his daughter and he said, I have an agreement. And she knew about it. She knew what was going to happen when she turned a certain age, that they were going to divorce. So he's telling about this man started telling about all the affairs that he had, a lot of affairs. And he started telling me details of these affairs with the women name, where they met, everything. And I was like, oh, that's disgusting what they did to him. I said, can you stop? I think I'm going to throw up. Why are you telling me all this stuff? I don't need to know what you're doing with these women. I don't even like that you have an affair. You need to fix it. If you're not in love with your wife, you need to divorce her. Stop cheating. He's like, oh, I got an agreement. When it's over, it's over. And I'm like, whatever. And this man says, I have something to tell you. And I said, well, I don't even know if I want to hear it at this point. And he tells me on my mother's front porch, the ladies done went in the house that was Googling big-eyed over him. And he says, I got a crush on you. Oh my God. I was not ready for that. I really didn't see that coming. I was like, he's just my teacher. There's nothing between us. I said, what? He said, I've been watching you since the 6th grade. And I trusted you? He said, I've been watching you since the 6th grade. Why you think I went to the 7th grade? Why you think I tried to go to the 8th grade? I've been watching you the whole time, waiting on you to develop, get grown. That messed me up so bad, y'all. I was so angry. I said, what did you say? He said, I want you. And these are the things I want to do with you. I dream about doing these things to you. And he spit it out so quick I could have socked him in his mouth. He spit those things out so quick. I want to do this to you and I'm going to do it this way. What? If you don't get the freak off my mother's front porch, my mother is in there, and you a grown man talking to me. You know how many times I spent time with you, even at night when you taught me how to drive, and I came home and late at night when you picked me up at the bus stop at 12 at night. I trusted you. I let my guards down. You meant all the same, and I went right back to the angry girl stage. And if I could have picked him up and flowed him, I would have. I would have flew him to his grave. I cussed him. I ain't cursed. I cussed him out so bad. And I tell you, don't you ever in your life contact me, come by my house, forget you ever knew me. I said, now it makes sense why your wife hates my guts. She done caught you cheating so much. She thought I was having an affair with you. You need to fix that. You did tell her you ain't got nothing with me. You got that woman hating my guts because you think you doing all this. You pay for my dental service because you want me or we have an affair. That's a lie. You need to tell her. And I feel sorry for her. I pray that she can get through this because you not right. God help your soul. Y'all, he left. And I was so angry. I could just punch a hole in the brick house that we were living in. That's how angry I was. I said, oh, he better not. I know women better not ever ask me about him across the street. And my mother was like, so how did your visit go with Mr. So-and-so? I was like, Mama, I'm going to say this to you. If that man call, I don't live here no more. Don't ever give me the phone because I don't want to ever see him or talk to him as long as I live. She said, well, that's a nice man. Why would you be so mean? I said, Mama, I'm not playing. Do not, if he comes and ring that doorbell, if he calls me, I don't live here. She said, oh, he's just a nice man. You just being mean. I said, I'm not, Mama. I'm serious. Do not let this man in our house. Tell him I'm not available, that I don't want to speak to him. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And the reason why I didn't tell her what he said and what he did and how he betrayed me is because I knew she wasn't going to believe me in the first place because she didn't do anything about the preacher, about the babysitter. I didn't tell her about the babysitter, but I told her I didn't want to go back. And you could have asked me, why didn't I want to go back? I said, it's time for us to, can we stay on our own? I'll be good. I won't let nobody in. That's how we end up getting out of the babysitter situation and getting away from that situation with the babysitter. But she did not care. She liked this man so bad. And I'm like, he came by. She tried to let him. I said, hey, don't let him in the house. Are you kidding me? I'm leaving. If you let this man in the house, I am gone. I told you, don't let him in the house. I asked you not to let him in the house. Don't do it. You're not listening to me. You never listen to me. And I was so angry as a young girl. She refused. And she's like, he called on the phone. She said, Mr. So-and-so is on the phone. He want to talk. Just talk to him, baby. Just talk. I said, no, I don't want to talk to him. There's nothing this man can say to me. Please, I do. Look, please do not tell him I'm here. Tell him he is no longer welcome to call here. Just trust me on this. I'm not going to go into detail because I already know. You don't ever listen to me. And I was angry with her because she never listens to me. And this thing happened. And this went on. He kept coming by. She kept trying to, hold on, let me get her. If your child is acting like, oh, please keep this person away from me, why are you forcing this person on your child? I'm like 20 years old and you let me go get her. Let me go get her. It's a grown man. And she would hand the phone. I'm like, well, you talk to him. You like him so much, you talk to him. You ain't his age type. I did not know this man was a pedophile. I did not. I still didn't know at that age. I still didn't know that he was a pedophile. I'm just thinking he liked young girls. I didn't know it was a thing, something that he can get in trouble for. But I'm like, if he messed with me, who else was he messing with? Who else did he try to sleep with in grade school? And allegedly, I found out one of the girls, how they back in the day they would call them fast. I found out he was supposedly having an affair with my friend who was a 6th grader. And she wasn't like close to me, but we was in the same homeroom. I think she was in my homeroom, but we talked. And I would be like, girl, we would talk about different things. We never talked about him. Just talk about life and, school and stuff like that. But everybody would be like, oh, she probably doing the thing, in the 6th grade. I'm like, no, that's like young, nobody really thinks like that. But she, come to find out, somebody was saying that she was sleeping with a lot when they were having an affair from the 6th grade to I think the 8th grade. Like, what? Him and her? That's just nasty. She was a child like I was. Well, what stopped him from trying to sleep with me if he was sleeping with her from the 6th to 8th grade? He was trying to that means he was trying to move in on me. I didn't know I was in so much danger. I didn't know it. I spent a lot of time with him, and it was hard for me to trust a man after that because this man won my trust for he had false pretensions. What do you call it? Pretentious. He was pretentious, and he deceived me, and telling me what I needed to hear or wanted to hear, so that he can get close to me, get what he wanted. And I think about, he could have just raped me in the car. He could have raped me in the hotel. He could have raped me, took me anywhere, and it wasn't gonna be his house because he's married. So I'm just saying, these are the men that hurt me, and I just wanted to share that. This one was the longest because this was somebody in my life a long time. And I'm going to show you his picture. This man, I don't know if this is him, but the man, supposedly, it seems like he's a principal. When I looked him up, it seemed like he's a principal from he's a grade school principal. If this is him, it doesn't have a picture, but he doesn't have a picture, but he's a grade school teacher. And trying to find the picture. He's a grade school teacher. That's what it says, the same name. So I'm guessing this is him. And he's a part of some club. But he's around kids, y'all. Around the same age I was back then. And he's around kids. And now he's no longer a history teacher. He is a principal, if this is him. It does not have a picture of what this man looked like, but it's the same name. And he always at the grade school. So if I can help somebody out, their child, watch your children. Tell them to stay far from this man. Don't let them spend no time with him. Don't let them get called in the office with this guy. This guy was very dangerous. I am so thankful that God protected me from him. I'm so thankful he didn't try to rape me. I'm so thankful that he's out of my life. But this is the man, y'all. He'd been around children, and I hope that anybody who recognizes him, if they see this video, hold on. I'm sorry. Phone is heavy. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Oh, there he is. If anybody recognizes him, this is him. This is the guy. That's the guy. Herbert Bowie. Bowie Herbert. Herbert Bowie is his name. And he was messing with, allegedly, other people in my class. But I know what he did to me, how he deceived me. And if you see him, keep him away from your small children. He's very manipulative. I don't know what he's capable of. I don't know what type of man he is today, if he has changed. I know how he really, it's like he was courting me without me knowing it. For a man to watch you from the 6th grade, flat-chested, all the way to college without saying a word, I was like his prey, and he was waiting for it to mature, for me to ripen. And the things he said to me, I can't get it out of my head. But God blocks it for me not to have the details. But I can still remember, I guess, because I'm talking about it. But the things he said to me that day, nobody should have had to. I'm 20. I think I was going on 21. At that time, I was like 20. He should have never said that stuff to me. He should have. I mean, when I tell you he was graphic, I guess he thought it was supposed to turn me on, but it didn't. That man was a monster. He preyed on me. So I just want you guys to be alert when you have your children around men that show too much interest in your children. They want to hug them, want them to sit on their lap. They want to be a father figure to them. They keep complimenting them. Keep your eyes on them and keep your children away from that man. Because this man was preying on me, just like all the rest of them. They all had that one thing in common. They were pedophiles. Now that I have language for it, I did not know that that was something they should not be doing. I was a child. And these men, they just did it and they just got away with it. Now, you want to know, did I forgive them? Yes, I forgave them, but it didn't happen overnight. I forgave them, and I asked God to help me to forgive them because I could not do it on my own. I don't want to carry unforgiveness in my heart. I have forgiven them. I feel sorry for the victims. I feel sorry for their children. I feel sorry for everybody. But my cousin didn't listen to me. My mother didn't listen to me. I felt very unprotected. So this is one of the reasons this day I don't share personal things with my mother, because I don't want her to tell me it didn't happen, or she think I'm making it up or whatever. She doesn't like to deal with hard things. So she's like, oh, don't tell me that. That didn't happen. I can't deal with that. It's too much. And I love her to life. But that's my mother. And I know who she is. So I choose to go to counseling. So if you don't have anybody, talk to somebody. Don't keep that stuff in. Now, I told about, should I even show their face? Should I even use their name? And I'm like, yes, I will. Sipping. Because they're still alive. This is my story. You can say whatever you want. What didn't happen, what did happen, whatever. You can lie about it. I know what happened. You can say, no, I'm living my best life. That girl is a liar. She's a little B. She's that. But I don't care what you think about me. I don't care how angry it makes you. You were wrong. You didn't apologize. And you did these things to, it was traumatizing for me as a kid, all the way until I was 20 for the last guy. And shame on you. You need to repent. Truly repent. All of y'all need to repent and stop doing what you were doing. If you're still doing it, stop doing it, because God ain't pleased. You are traumatizing kids. You are traumatizing young ladies. If they're teens or they're 20s, you still have no business messing with these young girls. You're older. You don't have no business doing that. So stop what you're doing. You don't have to apologize to me, but you may not even apologize to other people, but you need to make it right with God. And you need to just stop it. And if you stopped, I'm so happy you did. If you got it right, go apologize to your wives, your ex-wives. Go apologize to your ex-wives. Not the babysitter, but the preacher and you. Go apologize to your ex-wife. Apologize to your children for the thoughts that you had, the things that you did, because you were wrong. And you traumatized me. And I never wanted to see your face again. I couldn't even look at a picture of y'all. Not the babysitter, because I haven't seen them since I was young. But these, I've seen them because it's been in my face, because we all travel in certain circles. We're connected. But I couldn't even see a picture. I couldn't even stand to hear your name called. But I'm delivered because I can do that now. But why am I coming out now? It's because I prayed about it, and it's time. You don't have to ever, this video don't have to ever reach you. You don't have to ever know about this video. But I am free, and I pray that you find the right peace with God, because I no longer hold you and your memories in a bad place where it traumatizes me. I have gotten counseling, and I'm much better, in a better place. I'll say that. So this is episode 2 of the men that I trusted and who failed me. They betrayed my trust, and I put them out there because if they're still doing it, you want to keep them from your children. You want to have that conversation with your children. Ask them, have they ever crossed the line? Have they ever done anything? Now, they could be delivered. It could have been, they stopped right after me. I could have been the last person. But whatever the case may be, I know that they've had opportunities where they were around children, especially this one. If this is him, that's a principal for a grade school. If he don't get his stuff together, I hope he don't have no babies around there. Why are you working around all these kids to this day? When I found out, I was like, this cannot be him. I thought that he wasn't teaching anymore. But now, if that's him, it doesn't have a picture, but it says his name. If that's him, he's a principal around grade school kids. If his appetite ain't dealt with, So that's my podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And I hope that something I said will have you have a talk with your children, will have you believe in your children, have you speak up for your children. Do not deny your children their experiences. Do not tell them it never happened or you're lying. Listen to your children. They count on you to protect them. Listen to them. Even if you don't want to hear it, still, as they went through it, it's worse that to them because they went through it. So at least you can do is listen and then ask God. As much if you know the child lies a lot or whatever, ask God, is this child telling the truth? Because if they're lying a lot, they can say, oh, this happened or this didn't happen. They can fudge on this or that. But you definitely want to listen and hear them out. When a child feels like they're not heard, they don't trust you. They don't want to come to you for nothing. And definitely don't force your child to spend time with somebody that they're telling you, no, red flag. I don't like him. I don't want to be around him. I don't want to talk to him. Listen to your children. Okay? Stop ignoring them. They trusted you to protect them. And that's your job, to protect and serve your children. Don't throw them in the lion's den in the hands of wolves, because it could be a different outcome. And some of y'all find out later that your children had experiences with Uncle so-and-so and neighbor so-and-so, but they tried to tell you, but you didn't listen to them. Talk to your children. I hope this opened up a conversation to talk to your children. And to those people, only God can judge and deal with them. I wish nothing bad on them, but I'd be darned if I was going to keep it quiet. This is your girl, Jay Carnley. This is the Faith and Kingdom Riches podcast. And I'll see you on a lighter note. Hopefully, the next one will be my interview. Okay. So I started off with me, and I thank you for your time. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.